Alright. Cue the video.
Knowledge. Got all these books. It's because I got knowledge. Bro, it's just that easy.
Legend has it that how you think and how you feel about money are directly related with each other. So you might be asking yourself, okay, cool. Well, what does this mean? Well, some people go as far as to say that our perception of money and how we view it is a game. And you should see it as such. They say that money doesn't grow on trees. How I would respond is, well, for one, money is made of paper. So you're looking kind of stupid right now. But in all seriousness, how I would respond would go a little something like this. All it takes is just one seed. All it takes is just one plant for it to grow and to blossom into a mighty oak, a vast plain of harvest waiting to be cropped out. Oh, on a metaphorical and literal sense, it just makes sense. And not to be that guy, but that's my 2 cents for something hopeful and logical. As a video game nerd or what have you myself, at least back in the day, dabbling here and there, it could be argued that in the video game world and the real world share a macro and microcosmic relationship with each other. Simply put, just like in the real world and just like in the video game world, there are things that govern the world that we live in. It's possible to be constructed through three-dimensional functionality. And with the three-dimensional planes that help us view the worlds that we are taking part of, it helps us enhance our senses. It could also be argued that time and space make up for 2 out of the 3 dimensions. I would argue that the third piece of that dimension would be reality itself. Reality itself is something that can be altered, something that can be fixed, something that can be manipulated to one's will and through a collective of others' as will. And to be relevant to the concept of money, how we view and perceive the value of money and our ideas around management of money and finance, that is something that can make or break the fabric of your reality, that can make or break the structural integrity of your macro world and your micro world. The purpose of this video is to introduce a series that I would like to upload up to this channel, talking about money and financial literacy and its axioms. It's axioms that have stood for the test of time when it came to being on the winner's side of this game, and creating your axioms and your terms and conditions that will put you 5 steps forward and 0 steps back. I mean, you do see where I'm going with this, don't you? Life is a game of abstractions that we manipulate to our own advantage or disadvantage. So why don't you take part on the winning side? I'd like to make a disclaimer. There's an idea or a mindset that I strongly recommend most people or anyone listening to adopt as you're playing this game. It's not the game or money itself you should be fixated on or fascinated by or obsess over. Rather, it's the process, the ability to use what you know and to apply your understanding and how to manipulate and optimize your results when it comes to money. With that said, I'd like to illustrate this point that I'm trying to get across with an analogy. I would like you to think about your first transaction or your first dollar that you've received or opening up your first checking account. I would argue it is no different than receiving your starter Pokemon. To elaborate, you were presented a situation in the beginning of the game where you were told to choose out of the 3 following Pokemon and you made your choice. That right there was a transaction. Remember, when it comes to making a transaction, there has to be an exchange between a party of 2 or more people, and products must be exchanged back and forth, either through one time or in a chain of different transactions. And compensation or debt must be encumbered through that result of that transaction. So what did you get as a byproduct as your decision of what you thought was a free Pokemon? You were told in the game that you had to go out on your journey and collect data on the different types of Pokemon that existed that were not yet recorded. And that's something that you were told to do as a condition. That is what I would define as a transaction. Now, that being said, someone playing the game of Pokemon with a level 5 starter, Pokemon that are level 60 and above, and they're out to defeat the Elite Four in Champion. They are 2 completely different people in the sense that their experiences and the things that they've learned along their journey are completely different in comparison to each other. They say experience is the best teacher, and with experience, it shapes and changes who you are as you're going through your journey. And it alters and affects the decisions that you make along your journey to either speed up your process or slow you down. Depending on how you come into the game with a positive or negative mindset, being that something that serves you or doesn't serve you, that can affect how much experience you gain over time. I'd even go as far as to say that our view and perception of money is so twisted and perverted that we view it as something external instead of something that is internal. Simply put, it's not the assets that we have that generate the wealth itself. It's who was the one that was responsible for generating that wealth building asset to even function the way that it does. And I'd say it's the people. We the people are valuable, whether singular or a union. We have the power. We are the wealth. And it's time that you recognize that. And we're gonna unpack all of that and the technicalities of money on this side of YouTube. If that sounds something you'd be very interested in viewing on this side of YouTube, I would suggest, this is just a suggestion and shameless plug, to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and stick around for more videos to further elaborate this message. So it's your boy Abdul, aka Smart Juice Man, and I will catch you next time. Be easy, y'all.